Alvin Brown Beats.
My name's Royale and I'm 18 years old.
Like saying that I'm 18.
It was weird.
So, how old were you when you first realised you were into makeup and wanted to become a makeup artist?
I first gained interest in makeup in 2012, so I must have been about 11, probably like year 7, yeah, going into year 8 maybe. Yeah, year 7. What was the second question?
How old were you when you first began to realise you were interested in makeup artistry?
Oh, yeah, so I was 11 when I first got into makeup, about 11. It was 2012, so I was in year 7, and that's when I first realised that I was into makeup.
Why makeup artistry? What was it about it that attracted you to artistry within makeup?
I found that the way that people transformed and it's not just the ordinary, there's just like, you're able to be so creative, and you can do simple makeup, you can do like makeup that's really out there, and it's all seen as an art, and it's really like, I don't know, it's quite free. Yeah.
So from an artistic perspective, you've always been quite good with your art and very creative with your art. Would you say that it's like another branch of the artistic creative side to yourself?
Yeah, I feel that it is another path, because I've done when I was younger, wanting to design menus for a restaurant or designing clothes, like even writing music or drawing, like, and then now like the makeup stuff, like that took me. It's like a mix of things. So it's like the business side and then the drawing side. Like it's really creative, and then it's like girly as well. So the passion for it was just really strong, and it was the right time for me to set myself into it.
Okay, to go back a bit, would you say that your family agreed with you entering the makeup artistry scene? And how did you go about convincing them that, or shall I say convincing yourself, that it was a path you wanted to take seriously?
At first, when I did show interest in makeup, family were weary about it, because obviously they're not sure. Do you like makeup, as in terms of, is it gonna work out as a career, or do you just like makeup? And then there's family that are like, no, do something else, like not that. Like it's seen as like I didn't get my grades, so I'm gonna do this kind of thing. I just want to be a beautician. Like, even though there's a lot more to it, you don't just do makeup and walk out. Like, and there's like things to study. Even if you want to be a beautician, like there's certain qualifications you need to have. So, but in terms of kind of convincing myself and others, it was just to show persistence. So I was showing, like, even if it's watching a video or learning how to do things, or maybe thinking of videos that I could do myself, even if I didn't do it, even sketching makeup, possibly doing makeup or purchasing makeup, saving up for it, and then over the years that was just got stronger and stronger into now I'm doing freelance.
Would you say that your application to would you say that the way that you've been persistent with the makeup has led you to become a bit more professional in it? Do you think if your family were more accepting straight away from the beginning, you would have shown such a high level of artistry at this stage? Or do you think that had something to do with the raising the level of your artistry?
I feel that if it was accepted straight away, probably would have just led into quite a, like, I don't know, like, yeah, I do makeup. Like, you're not certain, you're not thought, oh, I've worked for this, I've finally got this and that, or finally, but I suppose with the being persistent as well, studying it in different ways. So it's kind of, even if it's just reading a book and you feel like, oh, that's a bit old school, that wouldn't work for now, but it's still, you've looked at the history of certain histories of makeup. And then watching videos that are current, so watching YouTubers grow, makeup gurus, etc. But yeah, I feel that it's helped now because there's a lot more behind it. There's like a specific passion behind it, not just, oh, I like makeup and I've made this makeup page, I just want to do it, yeah, support me. Like, it's like, I've been there, just because you haven't seen me, I've been doing this for a long time, like, yeah.
Yeah, and moving on to that, who would you say in the industry, past and present, has inspired you the most?
The first person that inspired me the most was in 2012 was Timely Infamous, because she used to use bright colours. She's quite fair skinned, so she uses like bright colours and like really out there, like almost near what you would probably consider like close to drag makeup sometimes because of how extra her makeup is. But she was the first one, and I used to list the eyeshadow palettes she used to use, and I started watching Aaliyah J from when she first started out, literally using like her iPhone and stuff. So like, and then it just changed, and more like you'd watch it to find out how good a product is, or experiencing, there's different things like beauty cons and events. But yeah, it's more for entertainment now. But yeah, it's mainly like people on Instagram use, there's various, like Makeup by Tiffany J, she does YouTube and Insta. Yeah, she's really good.
Okay, so where do you buy your products?
My products vary in terms of like, what would you call it?
Meaning if you were to be advising an up and coming makeup artist now, who was just starting out and thought that they had to have everything high end, what would you say to them in terms of your experience of buying makeup across the board and makeup instruments too, to facilitate your artistry?
When you're starting out, it's best to go with what you can afford. But obviously once you look at the affordable side, you can also, there's variation of like quality. So there's obviously, there's possibly something that's really cheap and really good, or there could be something that's like, say, more towards like high-end prices, or just like, okay, I've got a part-time job kind of price, like, and there could be rubbish. Like, I've had eyeshadow primers that are, sometimes you do have to spend more though. So say something like NYX is classed as like drugstore to an extent, but then, and it's still quite affordable, but then it can still seem like, oh, £8 for a primer, oh, whoa, like, but it's about the quality of the products. I'd say start off with drugstore products, up and coming brands.
And what are drugstore products for those that don't know what that is? Because when you say drugstore in America, that would obviously the equivalent for that in the UK would be pharmacy. Is that correct?
They say here, we're both now.
Really?
It's terminology for both.
Okay, I've never really heard that.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
like drugstore.
cool.
But I'd say that in terms of if you're going to use high-end products, look at quality, because you could get an Armani eyeshadow palette and you would expect someone's nan to be using it. Like, it's not about the name. But whereas, say like something like Morphe eyeshadow palettes are really good, always known to be really good. They've always been up there, and they're getting better and better, and they're also affordable. Whereas now, if you was to buy, say like Lime Crime, they're also really good, but they're more expensive. So it's like, start out with what you can afford. Otherwise, you'll have two products in your kit.
How have you seen the industry change over time since things like social media platforms such as Instagram have been very influential, and for an instant type of look? You don't, as you said, you don't have to go to YouTube anymore. How do you feel that that's influenced the industry on a whole?
I feel like it's made it a lot bigger, so it's not just closed in terms of, so with the way that social media works in general, obviously YouTube is classed as a social media, but it's also like entertainment, like you'd watch it like TV. So it was quite like, oh, that's the community. They have Instagram. I don't know how the followers were working, but they were doing well on YouTube. Some people have been grinding for years, and now like they're big now, and then some people just became big quickly. But I feel like Instagram is another way to like connect it, so it's like, oh, okay, that's that person, we follow that person. Or sometimes you may see them on Instagram but not see them on YouTube, or vice versa. But it's like, it's a good way because that way you can communicate, they can get feedback there, also use it, bring it back to YouTube, and it just works hand in hand.
How do you feel for you as an up and coming makeup artist? How do you feel that Instagram has helped you grow and start your business in essence?
Instagram helped me with my business because it was a case where you can post what the work you've done, even if it's just on yourself in your spare time. It doesn't have to necessarily be a client. And then because the way it works, it pushes you out there to fight so that people that know you, just in terms of like the way Instagram works, people that know you can find you, or something that relates to what people are searching to. And then you have to be clever with how you set it out. So certain things you put, words you use in your bio that would draw attention. So if you would want, a client from America, but if you live in Birmingham, there's like UK, there's only, you want to start your clientele where you are. But that works. And then word of mouth. So if you keep trying to just do things like just bring out looks. And then also, once you've started, you'll start to work out your format. You'll probably change your logo, your name, which I've done. And yeah, it works.
So now you're classed as a freelance makeup artist. Voila. You should be really proud of yourself, actually. And would you just like to tell your followers, your viewers, people that will be inspired by you, that are also probably already qualified, but they just look for inspiration from anywhere as well, how you got to this point? What qualifications did you seek to find, and how do you feel they've served you?
When I looked into getting to where I want to be in terms of my career, I looked into different paths. So in terms of if I want to go straight into work, if I want to go through college, like what would I need in terms of qualifications, or is it experience I need? And with makeup, it's mainly experience in creating a reputation. So if you have a good reputation, word of mouth gets, and then people recommend you, photo shoot here, photo shoot there, and then you'll notice that the social media work hand in hand. So whilst that's going on, you build up another persona on, say, Instagram. But I feel like the qualifications are also good because it shows like that you've been, you've been like dedicated, you've stuck to one thing. So whether it's like a course lasts for 9 months or 2 weeks, it's something that you've got. And say there's a job in terms of in the media, or that's the kind of line of work you want to go into, or even so much as creating a website and you put in your bio, like that might draw attention to maybe higher clients that are higher up. But yeah, I feel that it shows just dedication and you've stuck to one thing. So I did 2 qualifications.
And what were they?
I did level 2 hair and makeup, level 2 diploma, and level 3 production arts, so hair, makeup and costume. And yeah.
Do you feel that those courses served you? Do you feel that spending 2 years in college served you? Obviously you pick the good out of it, but I mean on a whole, would you recommend young people that want to be a makeup artist or anything in that field, would you recommend that they do that?
I feel like if you're still unsure of what path you want to take in terms of down the makeup line, you don't necessarily just want to make a page and just wait around. Some people want to do that, make a page, have a part-time job. But I feel like if you're still in the mode of like education, you still use it whilst it's there, especially how a lot of to an extent it's free. So use it whilst it's there. I felt that it gave me like experiences, even just life. It's like I've learnt loads of things, and just in terms of because of the age you are, you get kits supplied and things like that. It's just I used it for me. I used it to work for me. So it's not like I'm doing this so I can get this paper. I want this paper. I used it for the experience of it, and then I've come out with the qualification in the end. So I've been able to you get to do makeup more often. Like if you was working full time somewhere that's not makeup and you just did makeup here and there, you wouldn't do as much. You notice your skills change over, say, the past 2 years. Even so much as I've not one to really enjoy doing hair, but my skills have changed from when I first started level 2 to now finishing level 3. But yeah, I think if you like to learn new things, or maybe if you still want that comfort of education, but you want to carry on the makeup, I'd say, yeah, go to college. It's a good idea.
I'm really enjoying this. Would you like to tell us your social media so everyone knows where to contact you and how?
My makeup Instagram is raedientfaces, RAEDIENT faces.
And that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.